Hey, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. Probably thinking, is homegirl really using a flamingo as a microphone? And yeah, what about it? Honestly, what about it? What else would I be using for a microphone? Honestly. So I'm back by unpopular demand. I am here to have a little chat about something that's been on my mind. It is now time to inconvenience the internet with my thoughts. My name's Crystal. I kind of just post whatever the heck I want to post. Right now, I'm just going through life and healing and finding myself and making friends and traveling and having fun and trying my new hobbies. Really digging deep, just doing it all, going to therapy. I've got my first solo trip scheduled, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm also trying to adopt a more accepting kind of mindset of like myself. I think I am tired of thinking I need to be a certain way in order to be liked. This is actually what this video is going to be about, is about the people that have helped me heal. And it's not that I haven't done healing on my own. I feel like the biggest contributing factor in my healing was all of the time I've spent alone. I think I've learned so much from being alone. However, as somebody who once considered themselves socially anxious and antisocial and an introvert, which I think I'm still an introvert, but I have met so many incredible friends and made so many amazing connections with people, and I'm just having so much fun just like laughing with my friends and going out and just like learning about other people and what they do and what they love. I'm glowing thinking about all the incredible people that have entered my life, and not even just that, but this appreciation that I have for hi Slimmy. You have something you want to say? Okay. I greatly appreciate the long term friendships I've had. I have really incredible people in my life all around. It feels like my relationships are stronger with people. I just so much appreciate like everybody that I have in my life, because as much as my healing journey has really depended on me being alone, me living alone, me processing mostly alone in therapy and stuff, it's like those friendships were like monumental, and like the relationships I've had were just monumental in my healing. And I guess that's also why I wanted to talk about this today. Just if you're going through it, for whatever reason, mine obviously was a breakup. I've been reflecting a lot about the relationships and the people that I've had that have helped me heal. I think it's so interesting because if we rewind time 7 months ago, the person I thought was like my safe person ended up being not that person, but it felt like having that person in my life was like the only way I would ever feel okay again. I was like, that's my safe person. I felt like the only person that could take the pain away was the person who caused it. It just couldn't have been further from the truth, because I don't genuinely think at some point there could have been anything he would have said or done that would have repaired what he broke. I think about my family. I think about a literal like day, or maybe even the day of the breakup. My sister called an emergency family game night meeting at my mom's house. Obviously, we didn't end up playing games. We just ended up talking for a couple hours, but it was just so it meant so much to me. I think even at that point in my healing, that being like the day of the breakup or like the day after, it was like I didn't even register that as safety yet either. So it was hard for a while because I was relearning what safety was. I grieve a little bit too. Like I am grieving, I'm not always grieving what happened and what was done to me, but I'm grieving the one that was like the one that went through the most like mind altering, heartbreaking situation when safety was clearly not what I thought it was. I hate to call it a mistake, but I did make a mistake of kind of assuming that this one person was like my safe person and that they could never hurt me. They would never do anything to hurt me. I felt safe. I felt comfortable. I was like, I'm okay where I'm at and this is fine and this is good enough for me. And that may have not even been true, but that's just how much I convinced myself that I was safe in that relationship. And clearly, being outside of that relationship now, I see all of the signs and things that were happening that were clearly indicators that I wasn't safe. But you have the rose colored glasses. So, and I give myself grace, but that's not even that's not even the avenue I'm trying to go down. But truthfully, I'm just trying to say that like I had to relearn what safety was, and it was not easy, and I just horribly, like, devastatingly grieve that version of myself because I had one safe person. And it's, again, not to say that my friends and the family that I had in my life at the time and still have in my life weren't safe. It's just that I think mentally I was like, I have one person, this is my person. And like, I just remember like he was actively doing things that was hurting me, and I was still trying to run back to him. Like I was still trying to go to him for comfort. And maybe there's others, that can relate to being in a relationship like that where your safe person is also the person that's hurting you. So I definitely had a very altered view on what safety was. Being supported by my friends and my family, that version of safety didn't feel like familiar to me. It felt very different. It didn't feel like something I was familiar with. And simultaneously, I'm opening up to my friends. I started going to dance, so I didn't make like friends immediately at dance, but I was meeting new people. I was seeing my family more. I was seeing some of my friends a little bit more often. And it was so uncomfortable for me because I'm not social. I'm like, I'm so antisocial. I don't do this. This is where I have to say that I'm exceptionally lucky that I have very supportive, kind, loving, caring people in my life that like made that so easy for me. And no, it wasn't easy, but they made it easier for me. Um I have to like shout out my best friend Abigail, just like the way she just sat with me and coexisted, and like I could just eat an Uncrustable next to her on the couch while there's a show playing in the background. Friend Amanda, Tori, Denise, like just having girls' nights and being able to just laugh. Like, I remember the moment where I had them over and my friend Tori said something like really funny, and I was just cracking up. And like for a split second, I didn't think about my problems. And you have highs and lows, and sometimes when you're in the lows, you might be so critical on yourself and be like, oh my gosh, am I really crying over this person again? Like they were horrible to me, why am I crying over them? Like, get over it. At least that's how I talk to myself. And that's a work in progress. But like none of my friends and family do that. My therapist doesn't do that, and it has been so healing. It just feels like learning what safety was came in like small moments. Also, the incredible ladies that I've met through dance. I'm just surrounded by the kindest, most like supportive group of people that I'm so just like blessed to be around. I just love all of the wonderful new friends that I've made. And again, as somebody who's antisocial, and like maybe you guys can relate, if you felt this way, you felt kind of sheltered and stuff, and you're now in a situation where you're alone and you don't know how to be alone. I'm not really worried about this, but like I know Some people might be worried about, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to meet somebody again in the future? Like, how am I going to find my person? Like, I don't even know how to date anymore. There's probably not one single solution, but I would assume that, like, your best bet is to just be yourself and dive into your hobbies and get outside and pour yourself into whatever it is. Join a group, join a book club, join a dance studio, join a dance studio. This is a big lesson I've learned in my healing, is that the relationships that I truly needed, not just in my healing journey, but just in my life in general, were not of the romantic sense. Like, I thought that the person that caused my hurt was the person that needed to fix it. I thought I needed to be in that relationship. I thought I needed that person to love me. I thought that that was the only thing that was going to make me feel safe. And it's so interesting because I didn't know how to be alone, in the sense where I was like, I was in this long term relationship. I don't know how to not date somebody. What do you do when you don't necessarily want to just go date anybody, but like you also don't want to be alone? Well, I've opted to stay alone, and I don't like to call it alone, but just stay not dating right now. And I realized that the connections that I needed didn't necessarily need to be romantic. It could just be incredible friendships and in really fun conversations and getting to know people and like hearing their story and like what they do. I'm so grateful to experience what it's like for someone to genuinely be curious about you, because I have experienced more unconditional care and people genuinely wanting to know me more than I ever did in my long-term relationship. And to think that at one point in my life I was fighting tooth and nail for that person to care. God, like, God, did I just want him to ask me like what my favorite color was? Like God, I wanted to just like have a deep conversation with this person. And I thought that him rejecting me and him not caring about me or anything having to do with me was an indication that I wasn't good enough. First of all, what the hell does good enough even mean? And like, why does this one person's standards of good enough determine my worth? Oh, okay. No. Sorry, someone from dance asked me if I'm going to dance tomorrow. I'm like, girl, of course I'm going to dance tomorrow. But of course, gosh. Anyway, um, what was I saying? Who are you people? Where am I? Forgot why I was here, and I'm actually not reading from my iPad. I decided to just kind of talk. So I know that this video is likely going to be nonsensical. It's going to be all over the place. It's probably not coherent. But at the same time, if you're taking advice from a girl who's using a flamingo as a microphone, I mean, that's a choice in itself. So no matter how antisocial you feel, no matter how introverted you feel, sometimes community is literally some of the best medicine when you're trying to heal. And I am like, wholeheartedly coming to you as somebody who, like I said, has self proclaimed to be antisocial and not really great at connecting with people. And I would argue I'm still not. I'm just not afraid of trying anymore. Like, I'm not afraid of putting myself out there because, like, what? I hang out with somebody and they're like, oh, she's weird. I don't want to hang out with her again. So what? I also know, like, I don't really have anyone in my life that's like that. Like, I have really kind, caring people who laugh at my jokes that aren't even funny. Like, you guys be pity laughing at my jokes, and I know it. Like, I'll say this. So, when you're going through it and you feel like isolating, you feel like that's the best course of action for what you're going through right now, I just want you to try to think about, like, what would a balance look like? And balance might look different day to day, But for instance, I went through a pretty rough period where I was like, no, no, like I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to go to dance anymore. I was calling out of work. I wasn't seeing anybody. And I thought that if I give in to those feelings, because I was feeling that way for a while, but I was ignoring it, I said, maybe if I just give myself the time to just kind of do that, stop seeing my friends, stop going to work, stop whatever, stop going to dance. Like I thought, like maybe I would feel better. Maybe that's what I needed, right? Maybe that's what I need, and I would like do that, and my mental health only had gotten significantly worse when I did that. I think the hardest part was then acknowledging like, okay, I need a balance here. It wasn't easy because I still had those feelings of like, no, I want to sit home alone. But then also balancing it with still going to dance anyway sometimes and trying to get my assignments done on time for school and showing up to work, a sort of balance that works for me. And so that's what I ended up doing. Is I don't want to say like I don't want to make a joke, be like piggy dipping, but like we're like piggy dipping in the piggy pond. I'm like, I'm gonna socialize and I'm also gonna isolate tonight. Gosh, I can't express how important that balance was for me. And I think it might really help you as well if you're experiencing those heavy feelings of wanting to stop everything. Last thing I want to say, and I might make a video about this eventually because it is a topic that I'm very inspired by, but feeling like, especially when you come out of a breakup, is feeling like I'm never going to experience a connection like that ever again. And that's probably true. Like, you're probably not going to experience a connection, a relationship that was specifically exactly like that relationship, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. For me, I feel like the relationships that I have made after that relationship ended, I wouldn't trade staying in that relationship for the relationships I have now. I wouldn't trade that because I have found my people, and I fully believe that I'm going to continue finding my people. I was so worried that I'm never going to have a connection like that again. I'm never going to meet somebody like that again. And it's like, yeah, good. Like, you met better. You met so much better. And it's not a dig at that person. I just mean that I really needed people in my life who were rooting for me. I really needed people in my life that will give me the time of day to have a conversation and to hang out and to get to know me. And like getting the opportunity to like having somebody open up to me about what's going on in their life and tell me about their childhood and what they're going through and their boyfriends and their girlfriends and their school and stuff. Like, I'm so honored and like I'm so grateful. Like, what I want to leave you off on is that if you're going through it, listen, take your time, be alone. Be alone. Like I said, I have my first solo trip coming up, and I live alone. I spend a lot of time alone. Be alone, I think. Have a balance though. Have a balance and try not to isolate. And was another thing that was pretty much a staple in my healing, was when I didn't feel like going out, but like I wanted to not be in a spiraling thought, I find my mom in my contacts and hit FaceTime, and she would always pick up, and she still always picks up. And you know what? We should FaceTime her right now. Just kidding. Let's get her on. Let's get her on. But for real, let's get her on. No, but yeah, she would answer, and it was like sometimes we talked about nothing. Sometimes we were just like, so what are you eating? But just having that dialogue, just having that like person um somewhat with you makes all the difference. I want you to know that there is safety out there. There's safety within you, first of all. And if you're going through something similar, I'm just here to tell you, hang in there. I promise it gets better. It will get better. There's absolutely a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're not always going to see it, but don't underestimate the power of friendships and family and just human connection. Well, that's going to be it for me, I think. Let me just take a little Cheers. I'm thinking of calling him Wallace. I don't know why. He looks like he could be a Wallace. My cute cup of the day. But thank you guys. Sorry if this was all over the place. I am all over the place. But I hope this helped somebody. Bye guys. Love you. Bimmy boy. Bimmy. Bimmy. And now I don't remember why I'm here. So, who are you? What? Slimmy? Where am I? Reading off my iPad because once again I have the memory of a goldfish. Reading off